farewell to our dad. We've had so many messages of condolences and kind words from all over the place. My mum's got a tremendous set of cards and she thanks all of you for your best wishes, and also the tremendous help that my mum's had both when my dad was in hospital and since he passed away. All sorts of things, visits to the hospital, just helping out with things at home. It's been a tremendous amount of help and it's been really comforting for us that everyone's contributed. Tom, who was a handyman who's helped my mum and dad for a couple of years now. Tom became quite close to my dad. Again, he's been tremendously helpful both when my dad was in hospital and after he passed away, with helping tidy things up and just getting some things done. So thank you, Tom. Thank you to Jeff for his eulogy. I think that was a most excellent summary of my dad's life, and as Jeff said, it was just gave a tiny glimpses at all the things that he did and all the things that he achieved. So, and there's absolutely no way I could have done that. So, tremendous job, Jeff. Thank you. And in terms of thank yous, lastly, I need to thank my wife. One, because she told me to. But seriously, secondly, because she did an amazing job both when Dad was in hospital in terms of caring for him. She did some things that the nurses weren't doing or weren't prepared to do, and she comforted me and my mum, and she's a big part of the organisation of today. There's a lot of things that she did and ensured got done, so thank you, Maxine. So I want to try and say a few things about Dad. I actually remember not being very close to Dad when I was younger. He always seemed to be busy doing something, and you can probably understand that given all the things that he did. He was always working, earning a living. He was fixing things, organising things, building things, and never really seemed to be very close. And I remember in my teenage years being a bit of a rebellious teenager, and we conflicted, and I actually got to the point, Jeff mentioned, that we pretty much all were indoctrinated into sailing, and I have to say, during my teenage years, sailing actually became a bit like, if you've seen the film Field of Dreams, I became like the kid who didn't want to play catch with his father. I actually got to the point where sailing was a chore, not something I enjoyed. And I remember as a result lots of arguments and conflicts with Dad. So, in later life, however, I remember thinking, and this is probably after I became a father and a grandfather, I remember thinking, how on earth did he find the time to do everything he did? Not just the work and the building things and repairing things, but the things he did for me and my brothers for sailing. There was always working on a boat. There was taking to us an open meeting. After he'd worked all week and then worked at the sailing school on a Saturday, he would take us off somewhere to do an open meeting. He always spent time teaching, and you heard that theme in Jeff's eulogy, teaching me so many things, sailing, how to repair cars, build things. He was always able to find a way to do something, and lots of different stories, and as you heard from Jeff earlier, there were so many. I mean, just one example of what he did, I broke a mast at the championships at Burnham on a Wednesday afternoon, and for most people, that most sailors, that would have been it. You pack your boat up and go home. I woke up Thursday morning and he was out at the boat with a brand new mast fully rigged to go. And given what I said about sailing being a chore at the time, I woke up in the morning thinking, I might get out and not sailing today. No way. But how he did it, I had no idea. Turned up, brand new mast overnight on the boat, ready to go. And he was very much his own man, and quite often did things that people didn't even expect or thought could be done. And I was reading a story recently in some of the paperwork we recovered from Dad's files, and it was to do with the Moth Fleet and the championship he organised, where the fleet was sleeping in an old church hall overnight. And apparently Dad was kept awake on the first night by a really noisy clock that was about 21 feet up in the air. So on the second night, without waking anyone, he managed to construct a number of tables and chairs and all sorts of things, climbed up, removed the clock, removed the pendulum so it didn't tick, and put it back up. That's not the funny part. When they went to came home to leave the championship, some of the sailors noticed this, and Dad said, yeah, one last thing I've got to do, I've got to get back up there and put this pendulum on the clock. It was all going well until someone dropped the clock and it had a porcelain face. So the abiding memory of the Moth Fleet before they left was about 18 of them gluing together the porcelain face of a clock that had been broken because my dad had decided to stop it ticking. So, very much his own man. Other things I remember on a personal level from Dad in later years. I remember thinking back now to my teenage years. I remember how he kept his cool when I invariably damaged something of his, cars, tools, boats, basically anything. And thinking about his memory, I pick up on little phrases that pop into my mind, and the one that came to mind there was he would quite often say, "Oh well, not to worry," even though he was probably immensely angry with what I'd done. And one particular incident involved me backing up his beloved green BMW with a trailer on the back, with me having forgotten there was a trailer on the back, which resulted in some damage. Again, I was petrified about what he would do, and the phrase was, "Oh well, not to worry, son." And if I did something that really disappointed him, the other phrase that I remember was, "Oh, I don't know, Toby." And that's when I knew I'd probably disappointed him, and he was probably angry, but that's about as much as he can show me. When we sailed a lot together, particularly in later life, those were probably the times that brought us closest together. We did develop a very close relationship, and I think that's when proper, feelings of love developed. And we never expressed that to each other, but there was always a knowing look between us. And quite often we would finish a race and he would turn around and look at me and he'd say, "Well done, son." And quite often that was the result of us coming from a bad place in the race to a good place, and that was usually the result of something he'd done or he'd told me to do. Yeah, and he'd just turn around and look at me and he'd smile and say, "Well done, son." I remember thinking, I'm thinking even recently, I don't know how to do something. I knew someone who did, and that was Dad. So many instances where I needed to find out how to do something, and I'd just ask him. So finally, I do remember, and will remember him very fondly. And the most enduring thing I think I'm going to remember is the way he took time to teach people. I found it so difficult to do what he did with me, and even with my granddaughters, I found it so difficult to teach as well as he did. It was a gift. I thought it was easy because I'd seen him do it as I grew up. When it comes to teach my own children, it wasn't as easy as I thought. His relationship with my daughters is something that is very special to me. He spent an awful lot of time with them, especially Jane when he was younger. When Jane was younger. And they were very close. How Jane managed to get through her piece at the service, I don't know. She did a great job there. But one of the saddest things I remember was actually when he wasn't able to attend Jane's wedding, and that's the most emotional I think I've ever seen. It gives you an idea how close they were. Jeff mentioned the Guillain-Barré syndrome, and how he fought back from that was typical of his approach to life. He would find a way to get something done. So I think finally, my enduring memory will be the smile he used to give me when he wanted to cheer me up. I'm sure others have seen it, but the smile he would give me when he just thought I was a bit down, and that is the smile that I think is the closest to my dad to Tom.
Well done, Toby.